Heyo, welcome back to another episode of the Boston Sports Brothers podcast, episode 10, double digits for the boys in the books. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? We have a big story that broke earlier today as of our recording date, which is Tuesday, October 8th. And let's just set the table and ask a very basic question to get started. Do you like it or do you hate it? Drake Maye.
Hate it.
Kraz hates it.
Hate it.
Gabe.
I love
Hate
it.
it. Hate it.
I
Hate it.
love
Hate
it.
it.
Josh
Hate it.
Love
loves
it.
it.
Love it.
I hate
Mayday.
it.
Let's go.
Eric
I don't
hates
like it.
it.
Too
Gabe,
early.
don't like it. Too early.
I
All right,
agree.
let's break
Too
it
early.
down. Let's
I'm into it.
let's get into it. I
I'm
think
not.
everyone give 30 to 60 seconds on what you think of this situation, and then we'll move things along. But it's definitely the news of the day. News of the week is the Patriots are making the move to Drake Maye at starting quarterback. And I'll just go around the horn. J-Matt, start us off, and then we'll go Big E, Gabe, and Kraz will round us out. 30 to 60 seconds on what you think of
All
this
right.
situation.
Yeah, so I like it. Throw the kid in. See what you got. To be quite honest, and I think that this team is going to look very similar next year. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes. You're going to get draft picks. Yes, that will happen, but I think free agents are going to be tough to come by. I don't think people want to play here. But I think Drake May, if he shows flashes, could change the narrative of that. And it's possible. You just have to draw the right plays up for him, kick a bootleg out here and there. You can't be so one-dimensional, which they are right now. And let's see. All the other rookie quarterbacks are doing pretty decent. They're on not fantastic teams that were not great last year. So let's see how he does. I don't know. It's
All
time.
right.
See what you
Biggie.
got.
All right. Not a fan. It's a deviation from the plan. They're only doing this because Jacoby Brissett sucks, which to me is more of a indentation or like it should be the fault of the front office for not bringing in someone better to kind of come in. There were some better options on the market than Jacoby Brissett. Our offensive line blows. It's probably not going to get better next year, but not having David Andrews to me is like makes this even worse. And to me, I also think that this is partly a distraction from what is going on off the field with one of the Patriots captains, which we'll get into a little bit later.
All right. Gabe.
Excuse me.
Good and welfare.
Yeah.
He's here.
Hello.
Oh.
He's live. I am also not the biggest fan of this move. I think it's a bit too early. Maybe I think the front office and the coaching staff is pressing the panic button a little too quickly. I thought the Patriots were Jalen Polk half foot away from maybe winning that game last week. I actually thought that was a pretty good ball from Jacoby Brissett. So, I mean, it's exciting. I guess the fan base talking a bit, but I just don't think. I think the Patriots are deviating from the plan that they originally set out for, and it's hopefully won't bite them in the ass again.
Kraz, round us home.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Gabe and Eric. I mean, we know what we have in this team. I mean, like as far as next year goes, things can definitely change at the end of the year. I mean, we don't know what can happen in free agency. Anything can happen in free agency. So I mean, even without Drake May, I don't see free
KG, did
agency
you show up here?
hindering us.
Sorry, I was saying, I was
KG?
asking if KG showed up. So you said anything could happen. Anything is possible!
It's possible, anything can happen. But yeah, no, and like I don't want to chime off everyone else and just kind of like repeat the same exact things, but it's definitely coming from above because it's a Hail Mary last dish attempt to like make meaningful games in December and January, and like we're not there yet. Like we don't have the O line. It's clear. I mean, Josh, you threw it in the stats. There are how many penalties? 14. How many of those penalties are on the offensive line? God knows. I mean, I don't want to throw that kid out there for meaningless games. It makes no sense. We're better off just continuing to do what we're doing. Just keep on going with the plan and what we were doing. I mean,
The
it's
plan
not like there
sucks.
are reports coming out of camp. Yeah, but there's not like there's reports coming out of camp that the kid's got chemistry with one of these guys. So
Yes, there is.
there's no
There is.
O-line to protect him.
No, Sam, you're wrong. There are reports that he's been great in practice. He's getting like more of the
But there's
first
no
team
O-line
reps
to
than
protect him.
Jacoby.
And I don't want him to get smashed.
Okay.
They
Reps
better
are
hope he's
reps.
good. They better hope he's
What am I gonna
good
say?
because I have to say that I think that this is one of the biggest overreactions and absolute just covering up for what's going on off the field in the season that's been. And let's rewind real quick and go back to the end of last season. Let's fire the best coach of all time. Agreed, it all needed to happen. Let's get to the preseason and the training camp period. Mayo says that Brissett was outplayed by May. So why didn't he start? Because there's this plan in place. I agree the plan sucked. But the fact of the matter is, this team sucks. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who the quarterback's going to be. They're not going to go out there and make the playoffs or win games with Drake Maye playing. Do you have to see if you have something in him? I agree. It's this like shiny new toy that we're wheeling out because everything else is sucked and we don't have anything else to offer up. And so, in my opinion, I'm happy. I'm excited to see him play. I hope he does extremely well. I want nothing more than that. I really hope that it's a flip of the fucking switch with him in there compared to Brissett. And Jacoby sucks. He sucks. And it has been a miserable experience for the first 5 weeks of watching games with him at the helm. So I can understand it. But given the context of everything else, I think that this is just like, oh, let's just wheel this out because everything else is being a shit show and we don't have anything else to do here.
What are they covering up? They're a 4-win team. That's what Vegas had them at, guys. Like, what are we thinking? They're going to be a 7-8 win team all of a sudden because they have Jacoby Brissett behind the wheel? Exactly. So put the kid out there. If he shows some flashes, great. Like, if he, if the kid gets, hurt a little bit, he might. It's possible. You got Jacoby back in there. You throw him back in. Like, it's not the worst case scenario. Like, it's really not. Like, what are they trying to cover up? I don't understand.
I think
they're a shit team. We know that
they're a shit team, but this goes all the way up to the crafts and an entire operation, in my opinion, of what's happened since Brady left, and the fact that they don't have control. They do not have a sense. They just fucking blow with the wind now, and this is a credit to Belichick, in my opinion, because he kept that shit tight and he kept that asshole tight on every single person on that team. And he made sure that you walked in there knowing what's going to happen. And now it's just a fucking free for all. You don't know what's going to happen. Look, I mean, we'll get into Jabril Peppers.
Yeah,
we'll get into the injury situation. But quarterback aside, Drake Maye, I want him to play. I want him to be successful. As a fan, that's what I want. As a team and as an organization, I think the Patriots are at the bottom of the fucking league right now.
Yeah, they're putting him in because the seats in the stadium are empty. No one wants to go see the team because they suck, right? And
they're still gonna suck.
Josh,
they're still gonna suck.
I agree. Yeah, but they're doing this to draw in fans.
And that's fine. And we're still gonna get maybe 1 or 2 more wins potentially. Like, I don't get it. Like the fans might still not show up when it gets really cold.
Josh, do you think that if Jalen Pope catches, if that's a touchdown last week, that Drake Maye is starting this week?
I think he's not starting. But you're
so
also
that's the thing.
But you're beating Tyler.
Guys,
you're beating Tyler Huntley. Like, come on, guys. You're beating a shit Miami team. Like, let's be honest. Like, with our eyes, we saw that game. It was a shitty football game. 2 shit teams. It was a battle of the shits. Like an end zone catch or not. Like,
and I'd rather not put my nice shiny,
I don't know.
Do you want to play battle shits?
I don't want to put my nice new shiny toy out in shit.
Well, all right. So, I mean, we can go round and round in circles here. I think, listen, what we've done here in the first, 10 minutes here of the episode is that we've clearly stated that we are as in much disarray as this organization when it comes to their decision-making and in terms of what it is. And you don't know what direction it's going to go in. You can hope for the best, but God damn it, expect the worst. Like that game that we played versus the Dolphins on Sunday, because let's dive into that a little bit. It's certainly an afterthought after the news that came out today and the news from yesterday with Jabril Peppers, which I think we need to address quickly here. Obviously a very terrible situation and going through the process from a legal standpoint, but based on the reports, it does not sound very good at all for him. I guess you have to let it play out. And given the Patriots' history with these situations, I think they do allow for those things to play out. If you look at Jack Jones, Hernandez, obviously a different situation, but they're usually in a camp of let's see what happens here. But awful if anyone wants to chime in on that.
I think some of that has to be with the Players Association, right? Because I think if they probably cut someone and they're not found guilty, there's probably some sort of legal action that takes place. So I'm not saying innocent, guilty, whatever. Terrible situation from everything that I've read about and seen. But I'm just also wanted to give some context there on why they haven't made some moves until a final verdict comes down or an indictment of some sort, because, obviously our legal system is innocent until proven guilty.
Fair.
What
And
do you think
anytime
about?
there's a domestic violence situation, especially when it's domestic violence month, I mean, you really just gotta, I don't know, it's tough. It's a tough one. Like you said, Eric, we're in a system where you're innocent until proven guilty, and that's kind of what you have to go by, unfortunately. But the facts are the facts, and what's presented to you is what's presented to you. So I mean, that's kind of where we are, and like you said, whatever kind of comes of it is what we'll do.
Well,
No
in this
one
day and
Do
age
the right
too,
thing,
we're
I think,
also,
as a franchise.
I was going to say, in this day and age too, while you're innocent until proven guilty, the court of public opinion is completely different, right? And I think the court of
Mhm.
public opinion has already made their decision here on what they think has happened. We obviously got to let the legal system play out, but it does not look good.
Do you think that the Patriots should suspend him? Because Mayo said in his interview that
100%.
he said that he doesn't mind him being in around, I guess, or in the building or something to the sort of that. What's your take on that?
I I I don't see how you can, as a team, stand on the field, go through the proceedings, and the whole domestic violence stand up, and then and then let someone who's being allegedly charged with domestic violence, let alone strangulation at that, be around the team as a leader or good influence. Just jumbo shrimp oxymoron completely. You get a guy allegedly charged with the domestic violence and you want him to be around for leadership. I don't think that's smart, personally.
Yeah, agreed. It's a bad situation. That process needs to play out, but definitely needed to touch on it, and hopefully whatever happens, the Patriots make a firm stance, and take the proper action based on the legal proceedings. So there's your Jabril Peppers minute. Let's talk a little bit about this game. Really, it was an awful game, and the Patriots had every opportunity to win it, and at the end, let it slip through their fingertips. Obviously, we talked about Jalen Polk and not getting the foot down at the end. A crazy rule because
Heel down.
Heel down. The Patriots have gotten boned on that call in Oakland or Vegas a couple of years ago against the Raiders. Obviously, the Super Bowl versus Philly. You saw the catch later in the evening with CeeDee Lamb where it's both toes. It's just like it should be a catch, in my opinion.
I don't understand like
What other
difference-
game?
I don't understand what the difference between two toes and like an elbow. Like what's
But
the
there
like?
was-
Well,
but-
we're not going to figure
I know,
out.
I know how they view it, but it's like
different body parts.
you're asking what they want. You're getting like 2 feet down, like I don't know.
Appendages.
It's gotta be a
I
catch.
don't understand why 2 toes down on a sideline and 2 toes in the
Yeah.
end zone don't mean the same thing.
It makes
That is a
sense.
Does anyone
problem,
remember
right?
Makes no
which
sense.
game
That-
this week?
Ass backwards.
Someone was running down the sidelines, and there was like a controversial. Was it the kid from Buffalo? I forgot who it was. He was running down. Josh Allen threw the ball. He was running down, and like you could kind of see his like foot kind of like go towards the weight a little bit, but his heel was up, so he wasn't really out. But if the heel was down, he would have been out. So I don't know. I want to see consistency all across the league. And look at a game last night, like Kansas City, for instance, and you could it's these refs they suck.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, it's a tough way to lose. Then you have the end of game situation where they don't have enough time. Defense is good. If there's one positive on the Patriots, it is that they have a building block in Christian Gonzalez at cornerback. That guy is elite. He will be a shutdown corner for this team, so you can build around that defensively. Keon White is good, but he had some terrible mistakes and penalties. The penalties overall
Horse collar
were
was
just killer.
egregious.
And I think the biggest thing to take out of the game is the coaching and some of the decisions throughout the course of the game. The 4 passes at the end, when you're at the 12-yard line, when you've been running the ball the way that they have, the penalties were just excruciatingly bad. I don't know.
They ran the ball less than 15 times, and they had an over 8-yard average on runs.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the game plan was probably to pass the ball a lot, but you got to adjust throughout the game. And to me, that's an indictment on the coaching for not being able to make the adjustment.
Yeah, I think Mayo's in over his head too, and it's it's showing. It's showing that
Can
he's
can
a
we
rookie
rewind on the
coach.
flags real quick? The penalties were really bad. The penalty in the first half where it was 4th and 1 and they had the too many men on the field when they were punting when the Miami was punting the ball to us.
Terrible.
That you can't have that. Whether it's a mistake, I also think that you have the ability to call a timeout in that situation if you realize it, if you see the guy coming off the field. It's the first half, like second half, I would not waste the timeout, but that's a really big possession to get back right there. And to have that penalty is just bad coaching, bad on the player too. I mean, just you got to know what package they're calling. It's just it's a bad situation.
Yeah, I don't even know. We don't need to go into the game any more than that. It was fucking ugly. We couldn't move the ball. Defensively, it is what it is, and there's really not any players that stood out. But in a game where you hold a team to 15 points, you block a field goal, or you have a missed field goal, you create a turnover, you block a punt. It's just like the fact that they somehow find a way to lose that game is pretty remarkable. It's impressive, to be quite honest.
And can I?
Blame the offensive line.
Gabe, take us out on the Patriots before
I mean,
a
I think
meltdown.
I think for me, I'm gonna bring us out on some optimism here, which is kind of uncharted waters, I guess, for the Patriots right now. Especially when I was the one who was down on them in week 1 after a win. But I just think looking at their schedule coming up, they got through most of their gauntlet, at least in that first 4 to 5 game stretch or 4 game stretch, I guess. They really should have beaten Miami. I mean, that they should be that it's very disappointing, but moving on. They have the Texans, which is
They're
another
gonna get
tough.
smoked.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
tough
Well,
game.
no, Nico Collins, I think, does help us a little bit.
It's a
There's
scary front seven.
Tank Dell is coming back off an injury, so he's not been what he is. And Stephon Diggs, remember, he got traded and he really hasn't gone off quite yet. So they're also having issues at running back. I'm not saying that we're going to win. I just don't believe that we're going to get like waxed by like 20 plus points. I think it's going to be a lot closer than you guys might think.
Yeah, I think they play similar style football. And then you have the Jaguars coming up after that. I mean, they're not the team that we really all
With some
expected them
tea
to
and
be.
trumpets in the morning, my friend.
Yeah, 9:30 a.m.
Yeah,
football.
early.
Oh yeah.
Early
That's
one.
in London. I forgot about that.
That'd be great.
So
So,
fish and chips ready
London town.
for your halftime meal.
and then they got the
Down to
Fucking
Jets.
water
drinking
or
like
pale ale.
crazy.
Waking.
Then they got the
Those fucking
Jets
guys.
coming up. Then they got Titans, Bears,
They fly back
Rams.
across the pond.
Yeah, so like I mean, they have winnable
They should stay there.
games, but do they really want them to fucking win? Like, I mean,
No.
obviously, as a Patriots fan, I want to see my team win, but
All right, Mr. Optimism.
Just be competitive, right?
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah,
want,
just-
you know?
just show us something.
That's my point though.
the optimism lasts
if you have
really
May in,
long there. Yeah.
you have Drake May in there, show some flashes a little bit, maybe work some chemistry with some of
Listen.
the rookies, see what they have, I hope it
I got news for you guys.
We'll see.
We're gonna get a top 10 pick.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything
Maybe
wrong
top
if we
five.
get. I don't think there's anything wrong if we get 5 or 4. Right? You don't have to get 1, 2, or 3. Like show something. Like that's okay. I think that's fine. I do think Drake Maye is probably going to win us 1 or 2 games this season. That Jacoby Brissett would have not won those games. So I'm for like the fact that I think it's going to be fun to see Drake Maye out here. I'm just worried that we're going to hurt his development, and that's the thing that worries me.
Mhm.
It's yeah. So look, the optimism is that there is a blank page ahead that Drake Maye now has the pen in his hand to be able to write, and hopefully it's a good story. So good luck to him, and along the way, hopefully we can have some more positive things to sink our teeth into with the Patriots. But let's move along because the rest of the landscape has turned a bit more positive here. Quick minute here on the Connecticut Sun, who are in a Game 5 situation versus the Lynx right now, trailing close to halftime by 17 in elimination game. So not good there, but they did do a
Not
great job of
good.
extending it to a 5-game series.
No.
Gabe, any Sun thought before
No,
what
yeah,
might
don't
be
give
the end of
them
the season right now?
don't give
Woof.
them their cookies right now. I don't like that.
They're not done.
Fat
No,
lady
well-
hasn't sung yet.
No, I mean that's pretty disappointing to see them down by that much. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that, but I thought in the previous game where they tied the series up, I thought it was a great move to move Marina Mabrey back to the bench. I thought, the coaching staff showed some good adjustments, but I was hoping I was hoping for more tonight. Minnesota is a really, really good team. They're great
Who's
defensively.
the small guard on Minnesota has been electric. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
then
her. I forget names. I apologize.
she has like blonde hair, I think.
Yes.
And then Nafisha Collier is also just like 30 points a game automatic. So, I mean, they're not losing to a bad team, but I was really hoping to see the Sun go to the finals this year.
Courtney Williams is her name on
Okay.
Minnesota, who's the guard that's been just tonight 4 of 4, 3 assists, like just
And
on fire.
I don't know if you guys know Brianna Jones. She is the Sun center currently. She has been like a shell of herself. When I saw her play at Mohegan Sun Arena, she was lighting it up with getting rebounds, putting buckets in,
Didn't
and
she throw up a triple double in one of the games the
I don't
past
know.
series?
Yeah, I mean, she's a pretty big name, and she's Minnesota's shut her down. So to do that is a testament to Minnesota's defense and a reason why they're most likely going to be playing the Liberty in the final.
Kudos to them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good season for the Sun, but not looking hot here. We'll keep tabs on that. But if it is a season for them, I think a lot of good things out of the WNBA and the Sun this season, and they have a team to build around.
They're
Let's
still our
talk.
number one. Still our
Donna's
number one.
always going to
They're
be
still
our
number
number
one.
one.
I do
Game's
have
not over yet.
I have a final thought too. If they do lose tonight, I feel like moving the team might be like the only solution to getting them a championship. Like
Move them to Boston.
Boston.
I don't know if Connecticut's the place that's going to get it done. I think they need to move
Mohegan's
to
not a great place to
bigger
bring
market.
families.
No,
Boston
they got to
Boston
get
has
out
a
of
big
Mohegan
market.
Sun. They got to
Yeah.
get out of Mohegan Sun. That's for
Yeah.
sure. We talked about it last time, but like they're sharing their court with a birthday party sometimes to do practice and whatnot. Like
It's
that
sitting
can't be
next to
done.
like a degenerate like gambler. Like it's
Yeah.
like crazy. It's such a weird vibe.
Yeah.
Not good.
So
Anyways,
that's what you can experience at a Connecticut Sun game. And the Middle East got to experience some Celtics and Denver Nuggets action over the weekend, a 2-game preseason set. Celtics going on a trip reminiscent of the 2008 Celtics trip to Italy with some team bonding, going to one of the well-known mosques in Abu Dhabi. And I think it was, you can tell that it was a bonding trip for them. I thought Jaylen Brown's being able to speak to the crowd in Arabic was unbelievably cool. It just goes to show some of the things that he's into. And the Celtics kick ass in both games and have a nice showing. You get to see some of the depth on display. Peyton Pritchard, my bold prediction, will be in the running for the 6th Man of the Year award this year.
ooh,
And
Love it.
the Celtics are off and rolling here. So early thoughts from these preseason games over in Abu Dhabi and the entire Abu Dhabi trip in general. Don't all talk at
Yes.
once.
I didn't know I was gonna go first. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was like you said, very reminiscent of 2008 and when those guys kind of went to Rome. This time around, the team kind of knows one another, whereas in 2008 they were kind of going together. I loved seeing, as a big soccer fan, I love seeing Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, and PIKE, all of Barcelona with well, no, yeah, Thierry Henry played for Barcelona,
He was there.
all
He
with
was there.
Joe Mazzulla. So yeah, no, I just didn't know if he played with Barcelona, but he did. That was really cool to see. So I just that yeah. And then also, I can't believe that I'm saying this, but hats off to Kyrie Irving for giving credit where credit's due. He was literally quoted as saying verbatim that this team, and he's talking about the Celtics, was one of the best defensive teams ever, is what he said.
shut
Ever.
his ass down.
I don't trust him.
Fuck
That's what
Kyrie.
he
I don't
said.
trust what he says.
But it's nice that the Celtics are getting recognition.
Usually talk shit.
He does. But I thought
It's
what happened over there was just an unbelievably good experience. Gabe, go ahead.
Claudia, it's just like much of what you would expect from this Celtics team, I think, just absolutely kind of dominating other teams on the wherever they play. It doesn't really matter. Abu Dhabi at home, away. So I mean, it just they kind of toyed around with a Denver team that is
It's
potentially
loaded.
a finals,
Loaded.
a
Well,
finals.
I would
Without
I would like
Horford or
to
KP.
disagree with the fact that Denver's loaded. They're top five, top six, top seven, really good, but they really don't have anyone after they don't have a good eighth, ninth, nine man in the rotation. The Celtics are loaded. We are a deep team. I think that's the big takeaway for me from just watching the games in Abu Dhabi is it doesn't matter if we take our starters out. Our backups are pretty effing good. Xavier Tillman looks great. Luke Cornett, love that he was getting minutes with the starting five. That to me are good developments, and I do agree, Plotty, that Peyton Pritchard is going to take a leap this year. I also think Sam Hauser is going to continue on his trajectory as well, going to continue to knock down threes and DDF up like he was doing in the finals. So watch out. Our bench ain't going to let up when our starters come off. So that's my notice to the NBA. And
It doesn't mean that
to,
Denver's not
to
loaded.
Denver has the
No,
best player in the
that
league, and Jamal Murray is really good. Aaron Gordon also really good. Michael Porter Jr. also really good. After that, couldn't tell you anyone else. They have Braun too. Braun's pretty good. Besides that, they don't have a lot on the roster. That's not me saying that as like being a biased Celtics fan. That is fact if you ask anyone who follows the Nuggets in the NBA.
The deep league. I mean, that's a deep roster, but okay.
I think the Celtics are on another level when it comes to the roster. One,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. I'm just saying
Right.
that, don't,
Can we
downplay
talk
Denver.
about
Denver's a talented team.
can we talk about rosters and who makes them? There was a 2024-2025 NBA GM survey came out earlier. I believe it was today or sometime recently, where they, just send out a survey with a bunch of questions, tally up percentage wise, who was favorited. The Celtics are overwhelmingly favored by the GMs to repeat as champions at 83%.
That's
Um,
incredible.
yeah,
That's
that's
insane.
like
That's a big percentage. Wow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that is crazy. Second is OKC's Thunder at 13%, which is kind of a wild card there,
I
I
mean,
thought. And then the Mavericks at 3% to go back. So
the
I
range
mean,
from 83 to 13 is crazy. It's like
listen to this. 97% of the GMs who took this survey predict the Celtics to win the Eastern Conference.
New York Knicks GM, we see you. We see you.
Yeah, right. Right.
Have Marcus Smart.
I think and I think this trip is a credit to that kind of what the GMs are talking about. They can only build team chemistry, which is already off the charts. They brought everyone back. Um, you have some of these new guys, squeaking in where they're going to be needing them. And the benches, like Eric said, they're solid all around, and they're just gonna they have so much that so much potential. From the offseason Olympics that Jason Tatum went through, and then Brown getting snubbed. So they have a lot to play for this year.
championship or bust season for the Celtics, and not to say that in such a way that it's not to be enjoyed what's to come here over the next 6 months with basketball season, but this team, as we've talked about, has a real opportunity. What Maury said last week stuck out to me when he said he doesn't want this, or Joe Mazzulla is trying to prevent what was the '08 team where they had those other opportunities to win, but they didn't. And I think that the '08 team would have been looked at in such a way had they been able to win another one or two as a dynasty like team. And that's what's on the table here for the Celtics with what they have locked up from a roster perspective. But NBA getting up and running here with preseason action all across the league, which is great to see. And things kick off 2 weeks from now versus the New York Knicks, the new look New York Knicks on October 22nd. And another team that kicked things off this evening are the Black and Gold, who are getting their ass kicked by the Florida Panthers right now. I believe it's 5-1 in the second period as we tape here on Tuesday night. So I don't even have the game on anymore. But They do lock up Swayman, which is very important given the score of this game,
5-2.
and the fact that they're going to need him throughout the course of the season. So, Bruins thoughts here on game one and the week that's been with the Swayman situation.
Corpusalo
Goal.
5-2.
equals
5-2.
sucks.
5-2.
He is who we
They're
thought he
coming back.
was.
Leaky.
Yeah, Corpusalo. Oh, I don't know why we took him in that trade. Not looking like he's gonna be sticking around with the team all season. We'll see how that develops.
I mean, that trade was bad for a number of reasons. Like, first of
Yeah.
all, you gave up all the leverage you had with Swayman by getting rid of Allmark. You got a shitty goaltender back, and you got a late first rounder who might pan out to be something, but as a team that's trying to compete right now, like, what the F, Bruins? Also, just like, sorry for interrupting, Gabe. I just
You're fine,
that was
you're
just
fine.
that just pissed me off.
No, oh, you're good. No, yeah, and he makes $3 million a year, which also makes no sense. So, like in hockey, that's a decent amount of money and a good little chunk. So, it's a little upsetting to start the season like this. But I mean, game's not over. We're still in the second period, down 3 goals. But you never know with this Bruins team. They
It's
always seem
crazy.
to
It's crazy to
surprise you.
say this, but you got to give, I think, Corpusalo the benefit of the doubt here. In this first game against the Panthers, have, of course, they're raising their banner tonight. They have all that juice going on, and also, I don't think that he was meant to be play this game. Swayman was the trade when they traded Olmark, they thought that they were probably gonna have Swayman signed and he's gonna start these big games, probably be more of the load and not have 50% of the games, maybe closer to 70, maybe something of that like sort. But um I just don't think Corpusalo is meant for these big games. He's meant for the games where they're gonna slip him in like
Yeah,
once a week against the weak teams, and
yeah,
these big games are meant for Swayman.
exactly. I mean, uh, I almost want to blame like Swayman for not being ready to play in this game a little bit, but um, again, who knows what the outcome will be roster wise. I don't know if there was any big surprises there. None of the young prospects like Fabian Lysell or Merkelov made the roster to start the season, but I think as maybe injuries come along, they'll trickle in and fit in. I don't know. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this team? Like, a lot of people are like guaranteeing this team to be a playoff team, and maybe destined to go to a Stanley Cup. They look good on
I
paper,
mean, that's
but what do you what do you guys think?
I think they are a playoff team, but they might be the fourth. They might be a wild card team more so than anything. I think the problem is when you look at like our division, Florida didn't get any worse, right? They're still really good. Toronto is also really, really good. And Tampa still has pieces from their Stanley Cup team. So you look at that, like those are three teams that you could argue are ahead of us. Um, I don't think that discounts us from, getting into the playoffs and potentially making a run. I do think Swayman waiting to sign though is going to have an impact on this team where we're going to start off a lot slower than I think we have over the last couple of years. With that being said, I actually think that we're going to come on really strong after the All-Star break, but it's going to be a little bit of tough sledding here for probably the first month and a half.
I agree with you with that take, Eric. I think the new players, Zadorov and Lindholm, they need to gel. It's going to take some time. So after the All-Star break, let's see how they're doing. If they're floating around, maybe add a piece or two and hope they gel. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup team. I've seen this show once or twice. The Bruins are, they break your heart, unfortunately, which is it's terrible. It's sad, but they do. And I just the NHL is really competitive. I don't even think, Eric, you forgot. I think Carolina in the mix there too, and the Rangers are in the mix there too. Really
Yeah,
great teams. So there's like 5 teams that I think could be even ahead of the Bruins right now in the East.
yeah, I didn't go to the Metropolitan, but yeah, there are good teams out there too.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year for the Bruins. I do think that they are a playoff team. And I think that a lot's going to be riding on everything that you guys just said. Do these players gel together and sort of come together? And does Swayman have the opportunity to play, 50 plus games here this season and have a run here in the playoffs? He was the reason that they won the first series last year versus the Maple Leafs, and you can't really pin what happened against Florida on him. Florida was just a better team at the end of the day.
He kept them in that series. That's what I would
He
argue
did.
for him.
He did.
Absolutely.
And they offensively were just unable to generate goal scoring opportunities in that series when it came down to it. So, the Bruins are going to be a team that's going to be there throughout the season, and they're going to have their ebbs and flows and ups and downs. But I think they do make the playoffs, and as we know, get into the dance, and anything can happen. So, and I don't think there's any reason to overreact to a loss to the defending Cup champions on opening night with your backup goaltender in there. So,
Not at all.
yeah, we'll take the Bruins on a week by week sort of basis based on the games that they played, and give our thoughts based on how the season goes there. But excited to have them back nonetheless, and a team that is done, but a playoff that has been absolutely spectacular in my opinion, has been the MLB playoffs, especially here this divisional round where you have some matchups between the Mets and the Phillies and the Padres and the Dodgers, which are true rivalry series that have generated some amazing moments. Mets leading 2-1, Dodgers and Padres playing later this evening. And the Yankees and Royals are tied at 1, as well as Detroit and Cleveland. So, which is what you want to see. You want to see series go 4 or 5 games here in this round. The pitching get to a point of having to see who's going to have the depth. Quick playoff baseball thoughts just around the league. Anything, Praz, that you have based on what's been going on, or anyone else?
Nah, the Mets have just been a fun team to watch. Want to chime in on the wild card series too as well. Those are some really interesting series. Those are some fun series as well. A couple of them in 3 games. So yeah, I mean that's really it. Just keep an eye on the Mets. I think they're really going to be an underdog in everything. They kind of have everything that they need to make a big push. Also, don't discount the Royals. I think people are really sleeping on them as well. So we'll see.
Who are they playing and who they beat, Sam?
They are playing the Yankees, and hopefully the Yankees will lose.
The Yankees lose.
Yankees lose.
That's all we can hope
So hopefully we can
Just
continue doing that.
Just a quick thought here too. Like, I think it's really good for baseball that like this playoffs has been spectacular. I was even just sitting on my couch talking to my fiance, just being like, "Oh, playoff baseball is really fun to watch." And I'm not someone that loves the regular season. Playoff baseball is special.
It makes you miss seeing the Red Sox in it, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. But like, I would also like to say too, I think it's really good for baseball, not just that these series are good, like as far as like the product on the field. But I think it's great that these are mostly division rivals that we're playing here right now, except for the Yankees and Kansas City. Every other single matchup is a division matchup. It's a rivalry, right? So, something in my brain, my heart just tells me that this is the Mets year. They've been going wild since Grimace back in May or June, and they had that magical game against the Brewers at Milwaukee. So they've been a fun team to watch, and I can't believe that I'm like kind of rooting for a New York team, but it's I think it would be a great story and great for baseball to see the Mets win.
Yeah, and Eric, for me, unfortunately, I feel that gut feeling about the Yankees making it to the World Series this year.
See,
I don't know why. I just have that feeling they're
They
gonna
gotta get through
Subway
Kansas.
They don't have the
World
pitching.
Series.
I
don't know.
I can't pin the NL team right now, but I
think
do
it's
fear
wide
the
open.
Yankees.
I think the MLB is wide open this year. I don't think there was a clear cut. Like there wasn't like a team that was like. I mean, you could obviously say the Dodgers and the Yankees, but they're in really tough series right now. So I think anything can happen.
No
and
one's talking about
testament
Detroit.
to MLB.
Detroit's been so impressive. They were out of the playoffs. They were out of the playoffs.
I think I
up
talked
until
about
like the last
Tarek
2 weeks of the season.
Skubal a couple of times in
You
a
have.
few past episodes about
I think
how
we
I
have to
wanted
give
him, and he's thrown like he's been untouchable, absolutely untouchable. So we'll see where it goes. They're gonna go 5 games, I think.
I think we have to give credit to the MLB right now because some
And
of
the AL Central.
No. Just the MLB. Some of the rule changes that they've made has really brought a lot of people back, I think, and I think it's made the game a little more interesting. And they shaved off like almost a half hour, I think, of games in like 2 or 3 years.
2 hours and 40 minutes or something.
So credit to the MLB and what they've done, and Again, playoff baseball, like you said, Eric, it brings you back to your youth. And having these changes that they've made to even speed up the game a little bit more in the playoffs. I like it. I think it was a great thing that the MLB did. Kudos
Parting
to them.
thought
Just don't.
here. Parting thought is, or for me at least, hey, John Henry, get your head out of your ass and spend some money so the Red Sox can get back to the motherfucking playoffs.
Yep.
All right, that's it.
1000%.
And don't fuck with the baseballs or the bats either. I heard some rumor that they wanted to either like change the size of the ball and the bat, and just no, don't
They
fuck with
already
that.
fucked with the
Leave it
bases.
alone.
They already did the
Leave it
bases.
alone.
The bases are
Don't do
fine.
anything else. I am already too old
Move
school. I
the
don't like
rubber
fucking.
back.
Leave the products
I
that
don't
you
like.
use
Yeah,
to play the game as
stupid.
is.
Starting
Did you hear
someone
about
on
that?
second and in the 10th. Fucking dumb.
Did you hear about the I think there was only like a handful, maybe like 5 or 6 people in the MLB that hit above a 300 average. The over 300 average is getting extinct in the MLB right now.
Yeah,
Because
because
the
the steroid
velocity's
era
up.
it's firmly gone.
Yeah, because people are
Velocity's
taking
up, man.
walks in home runs are kind of getting it done right now. So
Bring
Money-
steroids
Moneyball.
back.
Bring steroids back. Bring steroids back.
It was a
I'm
good
gonna
era of
say,
baseball.
I will say, nothing was more exciting than the Mark McGuire,
Mark
Sammy Sosa
McGuire. Oh
home
my
run
God.
chase. That was
Yeah.
like I remember like everyone needed an update every night on what was happening, right?
Sports Center, baby.
Yeah.
the
Bring back
Bonds
steroids so we can see that.
Bonds was epic too. That whole run, and they were cutting into other games
for
and everything
sure.
else.
Come to my office.
But no,
I'll get you the
it
roids.
was between Sammy and Mark.
But that's why it was exciting, is because it was back and forth between two guys. That was the cool part.
Hey, the long chicks love the long ball.
They
You
do.
know
They
that.
dig it.
Mhm.
They dig it.
Dig the long ball. But no, baseball has
Give me a good stroke.
a lot going for it right now in terms of the playoffs. It's been exciting. The division matchups have provided entertaining value. The reduced time for gameplay. I do think the bases being bigger allows running the bases, stealing to be something that happens more frequently. So there's just more movement. There's more stuff going on. It's not as much standing and dicking around as it used to be. The pitch clock, obviously, as well. So baseball will keep tabs on the playoffs as things move along. For Frank the Tank Fleming and the entire Barstool crew of Mets fans, I'm pulling for those guys.
Glimmer.
What a crew of people that is.
KFC.
Forget what Portnoy calls them. Fuck.
It's no, it was Boomer and Carton on WFAN that said it's like the cast at the Cantina in Star Wars, which is just a fantastic.
Frank, man.
Oh,
Such a group of people.
All right,
Frank the Tank.
Frank the
I
Tank,
tried-
he was
I tried to get
Jabba the
Frank
Hutt.
up on
Now
the
he's
monster.
like Jabba the Little Hut.
Hey, good for him.
He got
for,
back to me.
for losing.
He was
all
like,
that
"How do we
weight.
do that?"
Frank the Tank's weight loss
Lots of
journey.
walks.
That guy, Frank walks. Get out there, move your body, do anything you can to get up off the couch and look what can happen. So, in all seriousness, good for him. He's reclaimed his life and reclaimed his entire health. So, a testament to what consistency can do for you there. So, the other thing we're consistent with is a segment that Big E leads us into each and every week. Number 30.
it's our time. It's time for the weekly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the yeah. Oh, give me. Can you guys give me an? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's got
oh,
our
yeah,
first? Oh
oh,
yeah, or yeah of the week?
we gotta start off with a sad the passing of one Louis Tiant, Red Sox legend. He walked so Nestor Cortez could run in terms of the windup. I remember Big John, my dad, reminiscing about Tiant and the, on the mounds, like going back and forth. So rest in peace. And he did some broadcast stuff and was a big ambassador between Spanish speaking players and countries and the team for many, many years. So Red Sox great Louis Tiant passes away, our first and everybody else feel free to chime in here with what you got.
I've got I'm sorry if I'm stealing this from somebody, but Boston College football. Yeah. Oh, they lost to Virginia over the weekend. They had a lead early and let it fall late. Kind of ruins their momentum there a bit. We were hoping for them to get a pretty big bowl game this year. They've got some tough opponents coming up with Virginia Tech and Louisville. So we'll see. We'll see. I think they're still gonna end up, with a pretty good bowl game, but losing to Virginia is a tough one.
Tough for sure. Bad second half.
Yeah.
Plotty, I want to turn around your to an oh yeah, and celebrate Louis Tiant's life. He did a lot for the Boston community. He did a lot for the Red Sox, the team themselves, with his success on the mound, off the mound. Papa Kraz would go to Cigar Masters quite frequently, and Louis was a member there, and he would see him quite often. Almost to the point where I believe I think it was Louis' birthday, or no, it was my dad's birthday, and Ed went, and he's sitting there, and they're talking or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, it's my birthday, blah blah blah," and Louis was like, "Oh, round of drinks," and then drinks come on over, they're talking, whatever, and then my dad ended up buying a round of drinks for him. So he's just stand up guy. I just wanted to kind of touch on that.
Nice.
Seems
That's awesome.
Seems that way.
Louis Tiant stories.
Oh
He was a
yeah,
man
for
of the
Louis
people.
Tiant and the guy he was.
A little out of our generation, but
He was a man
Goes
of
to
the
show what
people,
kind of
sir.
player he was, though. If the fact that his name is kicked around and known to people in our generation shows what kind of player he was. We got a funny oh yeah from the Celtics across the pond with Nemius Queta yelling like the bald eagle for the ball down low.
I didn't hear this.
Oh, it
I
was
didn't
great.
either.
It was great. It was the end of the
The
game.
screech.
He was wide
Screech
open
heard
under the
across the
basket,
world.
and he goes, "Ah!" Sorry, that's gonna ruin the listeners' ears.
loud.
But he literally screeched like that to call for the ball, and Scal was like, "What the hell was that?" Pretty much. He's
It was
working on
pretty loud.
his rookie bird call.
I got a Yao I want to deliver here, and I think it's the 2024 curse of the captains of the Patriots. So just to recap here real quick, you got Jabril Peppers, who's facing some charges. Obviously not a great situation there. Jawan Bentley, season-ending injury. David Andrews, season-ending injury. Kyle Duggar, multi-week injury. Jacoby Brissett, benched. And the lone original captain from this year, who, God willing, nothing bad happens to, is Joe Cardona. Joe Cardona, keep your head on a swivel.
So is he the only one that's allowed to call timeouts on the field, other than the coach?
Well, no, they have replacement captains and stuff, but
have they been named yet, or do we know?
I honestly
Who
I couldn't
fucking
even tell you. At
cares?
this
Not
point.
sure.
Yeah,
I got an oh yeah.
Oh,
give us one.
Oh yeah.
How about living in New England in fall this time of year? Just
Amazing.
an absolute oh yeah. Like the weather's incredible, crisp mornings,
looking
like
crisp.
60 to 70s in the afternoon. It's pretty beautiful, sunny. You get your cider donuts, you get
Foliage.
the all these
Leaves
sports
are
coming
changing.
back. Yeah, it's
The
just
Pike, man. The Pike's
it's a
really
great-
pretty during the seasons.
you don't have to deal with these hurricanes. I really am, hearts out to people in Florida that are dealing with that. We have friends down there.
Really.
Thankfully not in the direct path, but our hearts go out to everyone down there that are in the path. But living up here is great. Oh yeah to that. Oh
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What
It's
one
a good
last?
oh yeah. Good oh
one
yeah.
la-
I'm down the sorry, Biggie, before you go. No, being down the Cape this week for a work event, like you got that shoulder season where people are out and about. Like take advantage of fall, because I was out with the coworkers tonight for dinner before we recorded, and they're like, "You're still wearing shorts?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm wearing shorts." Like this ain't gonna be possible in another month or two, so I'm taking advantage of it while I can. So big agreement with you, Jay.
Did you have your slides on too?
Oh yeah, I got the rainbows. You go,
Hell yeah.
Oh
Love it.
yeah.
and we
Oh,
sat
yeah.
outside.
Oh
With a sweater.
yeah.
Love it. I love
All
that.
right,
gotta-
Biggie,
that
bring
comment.
us home.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Last oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Want to give a quick.
Oh yeah, Canada.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was
I'm from the Midwest. Oh yeah. Don't you know?
No,
Um,
that was
I
Midwest
did.
there.
Minnesota.
Did somebody press
Bobby's World. Don't you
Something
know?
else. That was something else.
Bobby World.
From oh yeah is I used to not be a fan of this, and it's really kind of changed for me over the last couple of years. But the London NFL game, like I actually really enjoy.
He likes his
9:30
team trumpets.
No, I just love the 9:30
Like
a.m.
waking
game.
up and watching.
East Coast.
Football.
It's kind of like
Morning
if you're on the
tea.
West Coast and you wake up and you have 10 a.m. games, except we're on the East Coast.
He,
And
he just got British on
It's
his
like-
games.
It's like Saturday morning
Oh,
cartoons.
The games.
It's like Saturday morning cartoons. but
So, yeah.
football instead.
They should just put it on Nickelodeon at that point.
Well, no,
Well,
fuck
I
that.
think they did last
but
year.
this is our
No, they did last year. They had the Toy Story Bowl game. That was a London game that was on
And then
early.
the SpongeBob
I didn't
You
remember.
you guys
this.
don't remember this?
I
know, I
remember
did.
this.
I
What
do,
you
did.
It was a
talking
game.
about?
It was a
got
game in
smashed.
Andy's room.
Yeah.
They did
Someone
a
got
game.
smashed.
They did a game in Andy's
Someone got a
room last
concussion
year.
during that game.
That was
Yeah,
Tua,
someone
wasn't
did get a
it?
concussion in that
And
game.
they
I
had
remember.
that. They had the
It
actual
was-
play. Like,
Yeah, I think it was Jacksonville versus someone. I don't remember.
it
who
was Jacksonville. You're
Well,
right.
obviously it's Jacksonville because
Duh.
who else plays in
The Toy
Yeah,
Story
London.
bowl game.
Sorry.
London.
Jacksonville?
Oh yeah, the Sun
This
are
year you're going to be
making
Legos.
Oops,
They're
oops,
making a
Sun are-
comeback?
Sun are number one report.
Sun
are
are
number one
making a
report.
little comeback attempt here.
What are they
How
doing?
much? How much we
Not
down
over
by?
till it's
Down.
over.
9 or 11.
It's not over till it's over.
Third quarter, 7 minutes left. That's
Oh,
All right.
Plenty of
Well,
Cut it to
Guys.
10, baby. Cut
Guys,
it
the
to
Bruins
10.
are only
Cut it to
down 3
8.
goals. They could come
Yeah.
back here
Bruins
too.
down 3. I got
Imagine.
one final before the pike, and that is the Jets jetsing Robert Salah.
Aaron Rodgers
Salah.
fires.
Aaron Rodgers. All
Bye-bye.
of them, dude.
Peace.
Salah.
Aaron Rodgers is the true head coach of the New York Jets. There was the writing was on the wall when they played the Patriots in that game, and the Jets scored, and Rodgers went over to the sideline, and Salah went to like give him a hug or dap him up, and Rodgers just pushed him away.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
hilarious.
like, oh, this ain't working. So no surprise
Yikes.
there. It sounds like it was an absolute debacle in terms of how they went about it. And back to Drake Maye and the way that we let off the show. The way that the Patriots handled it on a Tuesday with no players in the building, and they kicked off the season where Gerard Mayo was like, I got to talk to the guys first before we announce who the quarterback is, before we tell the media. And then to do it today on a Tuesday, where I guarantee you some of them found out the same way we did on Twitter or wherever. Just like, to me, the operation of the Patriots is a irregardless, I know it's not a word, but everybody knows what I mean, of the quarterback situation. Want Drake Maye to be successful, but the way the Patriots are operating right now, in my humble opinion, is a And with that being said, let's wrap things up with the Pike. As we talked about, a beautiful time of year to be on. The Pike is the leaves, 10 colors, and the times ahead are right in front of us with a Patriots game versus the Texans on Sunday, and the debut for one Drake Maye. The Bruins obviously wrapping things up tonight versus Florida, not looking good, but home opener Thursday versus the Habs, Swayman in net, and the Celtics hit the preseason slate back on the court Saturday versus the 76ers and keep things rolling there. Anything else on the Pike, boys, before we call it a night?
Just the Bruins have a few more games. They have a Saturday game too against the Kings, 1:00 in the afternoon.
Homestand.
Matinee.
Yeah, so it's matinee game, and a Monday matinee. Oh, is that
Columbus Day.
Indigenous
Oh, my
School
goodness.
Day?
I beg your
Wow,
pardon.
two matinees in a row. So just keep your eyes out for that. We'll get to see what they're looking like, and they're gonna play the Panthers too, a week from or not, and next Monday. So
Happy New Year,
I
boys.
love a Bruins matinee game. They're the best.
Yeah.
Indeed.
same.
All right, gentlemen, a great episode as always. Great to shoot the breeze about all the teams, some passionate moments here throughout the course of this episode. We'll do it all again next week. And I know we have a guest next week, but we'll save it. Whoever's on for the people, they'll enjoy
Secret.
them. It's secret. But we do our guest lineup coming up.
We know.
Is, soon. We did shuffle some things around this week for our guest that was scheduled, had a personal commitment he had to attend to. But we will get him on later down the road and look forward to that. So, all right, gentlemen, near, far, wherever you are, thanks for tuning in to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. We'll see you next time.
See you next
Later.
week.
Later.
Adios, amigos.
Happy New Year, boys.
Peace.